Cozy sweaters, crisp autumn mornings, changing leaves, and pumpkin spice everything. That is what you can watch other people enjoy from your beach chair in Florida during the month of October. Apparently Florida has not gotten the memo that it's supposed to be fall. I am steaming like a dim sum dumpling. Let's change it up and I'll share with you my must-do October gardening checklist. Hi, I'm Christina with Forever Food Forest, a channel where I explore ways of growing food without the use of herbicides, pesticides, or commercial fertilizers. And instead, I rely on permaculture principles and other natural farming techniques to grow food. And it's pouring. Okay. They say if you don't like the weather in Florida, just wait 5 minutes and it'll change. And right now it is pouring. So I'm the one who's going to be changing. And of course, the sun is now coming out. So according to my calculations, we have about 4 more weeks of this bipolar weather, which means right now your main focus should be on preparing your soil. And then it's going to be time to put those cool season crops in the ground. As you are planning your cool season garden, take a moment and notice how the sun moves throughout your property. It might be hard to believe, but the day length in October is similar to what we get at the end of February and early March, with warmer temperatures that are closer to middle of May. And this creates a challenging dynamic of figuring out what you can plant right now. But this is where watching the sun is going to work out in your favor. For example, now that we are entering the cooler season, full sun is going to be your best friend. This area right here during the hot peak of the summer is in full shade thanks to a big oak tree branch that's right above me. And as the days get shorter and the sun is moving lower and lower on the horizon, it just so happens that this spot gets full sun exposure during the cooler months. And that means this is the perfect spot for planting cool season vegetables that like full sun, such as broccoli. The next thing I'm doing is preparing the garden beds for direct seeding and transplanting. About 2 months ago, we found out that the soil in these garden beds was infested with root knot nematodes. For those of you who don't know, root knot nematodes are microscopic insects that live in the soil and feed on the root of plants. And the plants that they like in particular are tomatoes. And since we grow a lot of tomatoes, we decided that the best course of action was to solarize these beds, let them lay fallow for about 8 weeks, and then start planting in October. The way that solarization works is that the soil, when covered in plastic, heats up to about 140 degrees. And when that's done over an extended period of time, it kills most of the pathogens as well as any insect eggs and weeds. And that looks very nice. Still pretty warm. So I'm going to let it cool off. Maybe we'll get some rain and it's going to get rehydrated again. And then we'll do some planting. In the meantime, there are still a lot more tasks that need to be taken care of. Part of making room for a cool season garden is harvesting all of our summer bounty. We had really good luck growing eggplants this year. This is the long purple variety. It has been continuously producing since about August. And you know what pairs really well with eggplant? Peppers. This variety, which is just a regular bell pepper, it did okay. It's not a big producer, but it survived. Now, another really exciting thing that I've been growing here is popolo. I've heard from several different YouTube gardeners that popolo is very similar in taste to cilantro and arugula, and it can be used instead of cilantro. The best part is it's heat tolerant. So it's finally started taking off. These plants are doing really well. Let's give it a try. Well, that is interesting. It tastes how burnt plastic smells. When I first mentioned that I was growing it, someone in the comments said that popolo has a very crazy taste. You were right. I think it was You Slick Magic. It's fun. I'm glad I tried it. Yeah. Very interesting taste. Would not grow again. All that guy's lost in the sauce. But I don't think he's harming anyone right now. The first thing I'm going to do is get rid of anything that is no longer serving me or the garden. And that means any plants that are at the end of their season. So we have this colt's foot or buzz buttons, also known as toothache plant. And these were cool at first. If you don't know, the buds have a nice spicy numbing quality when you bite into them. It has medicinal properties. It's good for helping with sore throats and colds, but I also have echinacea and roselle for that. I'm going to save some seeds, start some again next year. Now, as you're clearing your garden, you will probably run into some pest issues that need to be addressed. For example, I just discovered that this whole pot is full of ants. And if you watch this channel long enough, you know where there are ants, there are also aphids, because ants farm aphids for their honeydew. If you live in Florida, you have sandy soil, you probably had your garden infested with ants at one point or another. Instead of poisoning them, one way you can combat them is by creating an environment that's unfavorable to their activity. So in this case, this pot was very dry. I'm going to add lots and lots of water, rehydrate the soil, and give them a sign that maybe you should take your business elsewhere. And it actually looks like it worked. Right over here we have a persimmon tree. We had an abundant harvest of persimmons. First one in years. We did have to pick them green because the raccoons have developed a taste for them, and the pigs too. But these are really, really easy to grow. Very pretty tree. The fruit, if you've never had a persimmon, tastes kind of a little bit like an apple. If you have been watching my videos for the last couple episodes, you've probably seen the giant pumpkin patch that we created here, and you would not believe it, but we have harvested close to 100 pounds of sugar pie and Seminole pumpkins, and there are more on the way. Before you start taking out your pumpkin vines, make sure there aren't any half-finished pumpkins growing on them. Looks like we're good with this one. These pumpkins have been doing so well throughout the summer, and these leaves will shade out any weeds that grow underneath them, creating a natural weed barrier. Green gold, right here. And I have an experiment that proves it. So make sure you're subscribed. Go ahead, I'll wait. So sad. We are coming up on the end of our passion fruit season. Now, one way they like to extend the flavor of passion fruit is by making a passion fruit syrup. So you take the juice and the pulp, you blend it all together and strain out the seeds, and then you add equal parts by weight of sugar. Mix it all together, and the sugar and the acidity of the passion fruit helps to keep it shelf stable, and it's so good in coffee, matcha, glazed on desserts. Another thing that's ready to harvest is your shampoo ginger. The best time to harvest the juice from your shampoo ginger is right after it rains. And you don't even have to cut off these pine cones in order to harvest. If you leave them on the stem, they're going to continue making juice. Since the juice is a natural product, it is going to spoil. So in order to extend its shelf life, I like to pour it into ice cube trays and freeze it. Depending on when you started them, right now is also a great time to start harvesting your sweet potatoes and clearing out all these sweet potato greens. These vines are a great compost accelerator. Looks spicy. Another crop that should be ready for harvest right now is black-eyed peas. These are super easy to grow, and they also fix nitrogen into the soil. So this spot right here is going to be perfect for planting our cool season crops such as broccoli or anything else that's a heavy nitrogen feeder. Let's take this out of the way. All right, it's the following day, and we got a pretty good amount of rain last night. Now, in order to prep my bed, I'm also going to inoculate the soil with a little bit of lactic acid bacteria. When you solarize your soil, you're essentially getting rid of all the microorganisms, the bad ones and the good ones. And so we do want to reintroduce some of the good ones, before planting. Microorganisms are the key to healthy plants. They help break down the nutrients in the soil into forms that the plants can absorb, and they also form symbiotic relationships with plants. We have a little bit more rain in the forecast this week thanks to a tropical storm. And when you are transplanting your seedlings, you do want to keep an eye on the forecast. Oh, we got some clouds rolling in. I specifically timed this with the arrival of the rain. It helps the seedlings establish much faster, also saves me time on watering. And cucumbers are perfect for planting in small spaces and vertical gardens as they like to climb. Today's varieties are, this is cucumber Shinto Kiva. It's a long cucumber from Japan. I also have the Suyu, another Japanese variety. And then we have the Beet Alpha. This is the Suyu, the Bush Champion, National Pickling, White Spine, and the Muncher. I waited a little too long to transplant these, but that's okay. I'm gonna stagger them a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're planting them vertically and using a trellis, you can get away with spacing them about 1 foot apart. There's so many different cucumber varieties. I wonder if I should do a cucumber taste test video. And we have a problem with pigs coming around. Last night after the rain, they came in and dug up most of the backyard over here. So I do have to be careful and probably put in some kind of netting and grating to keep them from digging up these seedlings. I'm going to thin them out later after we see which one does the best after transplanting. And I'm going to wait to fertilize them until about a week after they've established. Gardening in Florida, isn't it wonderful? You never know when it's going to rain. So the best thing to do is just work through it. And now that I have my cucumber seedlings in the ground, we're going to maximize our space by adding a few companion plants. October is the perfect time to start succession planting your cool season crops. So today I'm going to be doing a couple rows of rainbow carrots and radishes. And this rain is really going to help kickstart the germination. And with carrots, to get a continuous crop, you want to plant them at least every 3 weeks throughout the season. And you want to do the same succession planting method with radishes. And lastly, of course, we have marigolds. These are going to create a nice pest protection border. And just like that, the rain is gone. A cucumber patch would not be complete with one of the best companion plants for cucumbers. Can you guess what it is? They go together like peanut butter and jelly, cookies and milk, and hull and oats. It's kind of a big dill. Mammoth variety, that's what we'll be planting. Now, dill prefers slightly cool temperatures, so October is the perfect time to start your seeds. And when starting a vegetable patch, I like to plant thickly and densely. This not only reduces the amount of weeding I have to do, it also increases the amount of food I can grow in small space and reduces watering. And now to keep the cats and the pigs out of here, we're just put this here. For some reason, those pigs really like freshly tilled soil. So here's a fun fact. Genovese basil or sweet basil can easily be propagated from cuttings, which means that if you have a pack of basil herb in your fridge, you can take that cutting, stick it in water, and it's going to root in about 2 weeks. Then you can grow it in a pot, or what I like to do is plant it directly in the ground as a companion to my tomatoes. I just found these weird little, does anyone know what they are? I also have some cilantro. Now these seeds were a little old, so I wasn't sure if they were going to germinate. So I started them in this little pot right here. But you can see, oh, there's another critter, a millipede. Look at this, there's another millipede living. The critters are coming out today. Lots of critters. All right, my dude, you can go. I've never seen them on plants, so I don't think they're bad. Let's start some more cilantro seeds over here in a row. This will create a really nice pest protection barrier. I love cilantro. It's so delicious. Not like that papalo. I'm sure the papalo has a place somewhere. Now, the reason I don't want to transplant my tomatoes just yet is because of all this rain in the forecast. Tomatoes don't like water splashing on their leaves, so if you want to make sure that you have the best chance for success and avoid blight, one of the ways is you can grow a blight resistant variety, and another one is wait until all these tropical depressions passed. I'm also going to plant some Japanese parsley, Mitsuba. Those Florida sunsets are something else, huh? I had to take a little break and get out of the heat. And now it's the perfect time to plant some companion plants for, oh my gosh, somebody got in here already. The realities of living in the jungle. There's something so wonderful about being in the garden in the evening as the sun fades away and the cicadas come out at night. October is also the perfect time to start transplanting all your ornamental flowers. Right here I have some dahlias. I've been nursing these since August indoors, so the temperatures are finally mild enough to bring them outdoors. I'm going to leave these in the shade for a couple days until they get used to being outside and in this bigger pot, and then we'll move them to full sun. It's one of my favorite seasons, flower growing seasons, so I'm going to add a potting mix here, and we're going to plant some beautiful ornamentals. This is a mix of coco coir compost and perlite. This is another dahlia. Poor thing has been growing indoors on my windowsill. It was not getting enough light. Look at how stringy it is. I almost forgot sunflowers, and I think this is the perfect spot for them. Something rotten. Oh gosh. It looks like one of the pumpkins didn't cure. Pumpkins make excellent feed for chickens. But if you don't have chickens, you can also just compost them. Oh, all right, and now it's time to talk about the not so pretty side of gardening, compost. And in my opinion, I think compost is way underrated when it comes to gardening. October is the perfect time to take all of that excess green growth that has accumulated throughout the summer and use it to fill the bottoms of your garden beds, as well as banana circles and trenches. Any pumpkins that did not cure properly or got sun scalded and are now compromised get recycled back into the compost. And you won't believe how much this will reduce by the end of the year. Oh, that one's not good. Full of ants. And now for the moment you all have been waiting for. Let's start some seeds. And today I am going to be using these seed cell trays from Epic Gardening. Look how cute they are. They are BPA free and, best of all, made in the USA. Oh, they're actually really sturdy. That's nice. Because you guys know I've been using these little cups, but now we are coming to the end of their use life. So let's give these trays a try. Super easy to load. They have these slits here. Okay, and you see that? That is for air pruning your roots. So it prevents the roots from going around in circles at the bottom, and then to get your little seedling out, you just pop them out. Boop. October is the perfect time to start your cool season crops. So today I'm going to start broccoli. Now, if you watched my September garden guide video, you saw that I already started several varieties of broccoli. Well, I found more. So today I'm going to start broccoli de ciccio, purple broccoli. I've been looking for purple broccoli seeds true purple burgundy broccoli seeds for a really long time. And I just happened to be at Whole Foods. The only thing I don't like is that there are only 10 seeds here for $4.99. So these better germinate. Spoiler alert, they do. I already started a few. And this is what the purple broccoli seedlings look like. They take about 6 days to germinate. We're also going to start more lettuces. October is also the perfect time to start peas. Cabbage is another one of those cool season vegetables that's in the brassica family. To me, October is just all about brassicas. I think these seeds are from the dollar store. Perfect time to plant borage. It's just hot enough to get the seeds to germinate, and borage makes an excellent companion plant to cabbage, as it keeps away the cabbage moths. Okay, as far as herbs, I'm gonna start some marjoram. And just for fun, I'm gonna start some snapdragons. Might be a little too early to plant them, but we'll give them a try. It takes them about a month and a half to fully mature. And I also like to start them indoors because right now the outside temperatures are still a little bit too warm. But they've actually been doing really well for me on the windowsill. Snapdragons like it a little bit on the cooler side. They can tolerate temperatures into the lower 40s. And then we're going to transplant them outside probably around December. I ran out of the cell trays, so we're just going to use some more of these cups. And last but not least, we're going to plant some kale. Now, I planted some kale last month. I was using old seeds. None of them germinated. So we're going to try it again. This is the blue Scotch curled. Okay, this is perhaps my favorite thing to grow, and I'm so excited for potato season. This is the time to plant your potatoes in the ground. Potatoes require soil temperatures between 40 and 65 degrees to form tubers. And according to my calculations, those temperatures should hit around December as these plants mature. So you could have a really nice crop by January. And if you continuously keep planting them in November, December, January, and maybe even February, depending on where you are, you could have potatoes all throughout the cool part of the year. We have many different varieties. A lot of them are store-bought organic potatoes. We have some potatoes here. We have some over here and here and here, and maybe even right here. All right, well, I think that about wraps up our October garden guide. If you have any questions, drop them down below. I need to get out of the heat. I need to get out of the sun. I'll see you in the next one. Drop a like on your way out. It really helps out the channel. And I'll see you hopefully next week, God willing.